Some nights just seem like they're meant to be. Nights that seem like everything is going in the right direction. The kind of night when your best guy is in the spot you want him to be. And it's just a matter of time before you claim victory. Then again, some nights aren't what they appear to be. And with a swing of the bat, the night becomes one you choose to move on from. We move on to game 121 next. Two games left in the regular season. The Phillies have not had too many clunkers. Well, last night's ninth inning was certainly a clunker as the Arizona Diamondbacks came from behind to pick up a victory in game number one. Now it's game number two. The Phils and the D-backs. The Phils begin play tonight, 7.5 games up over the Atlanta Braves in the National League East. Now here comes the surprise in the National League. The Arizona Diamondbacks, 3.5 games up over the San Francisco Giants, and they're one of the hottest teams in the NL. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Gary Matthews. Wheels will be around in just a little bit. The Diamondbacks have won 7 consecutive games, and much like the Phillies, they have dipped into a number of different pools to pull out heroes. And last night's hero is a brand-new D-back in Lyle Overbay.
Yeah, you're right about that. Lucky to be back there in the major leagues there. Xavier Nady ended up breaking his hand there this week. Take a look at the highlights last night. That's his first game starting back there as he blasts that double. Here comes the game-winning score there. Doc with his head down, not liking that very much. When you look at the D-backs, 7 games in a row there, Tom, they've actually won. And look at the game, the wins that they actually have there. I like those runs, 6-1, and boy, oh boy, that is good.
You know, Sarge, they're one of 5 teams in Major League Baseball that have won 7 games 2 different times. Well, the guy that's going to try to quiet the Arizona Diamondbacks, a guy that's on a streak of his own. He's had a couple of them this year. He's got a 17-inning scoreless streak, and that's Cliff Lee.
Yeah, not only that, this year he struck out 17 batters in a game. He's thrown 5 shutouts. Take a look at the highlights there against the Dodgers there. It was on his game. Ended up striking out there 10 guys. And not only that, Tom, he had the nerve to go in and hit a home run there off of Ted Lilly there. Look at those strikes in and out as he throws that ball there. Has all sorts of types of pitches there. Not only that, good defense always makes a pitcher happy, Tom.
Well, and he's been outstanding, Sarge, against the National League West. You saw those highlights against the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's kind of carried over during the course of his career. In 16 games against the National League West, he's 10-3 with a 2.37 earned run average, and the opponent's average just 2.31. So he's hoping to continue that streak of good pitching and the streak of good pitching that's been part of the month of August. So will be Cliff Lee on the hill for the Phillies. He'll be opposed by fellow left-hander Joe Saunders, who's making his 25th start of the year. He's 8-9 with a 3.76 earned run average. Shane Victorino's been smoking hot for the Phillies over the last couple of months. He was the offense last night. The lineups in first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is 3-game series. Another capacity crowd settling in on a beautiful night for baseball here in South Philadelphia. Fans all around the ballpark settling in, taking that one last picture, enjoying the sights, the sounds, and everything that Citizens Bank Park has to offer. And it certainly has over the last handful of years, in particular this year. Had a whole lot to offer, from good pitching to timely hitting. And one of those guys is Cliff Lee, who just wandered in from the bullpen. And as he wandered in, he fist bumped with Michael Schwimmer, who has taken the backpack away from Michael Stutz. And Michael Stutz is probably very happy to relinquish the fuzz and the pink and everything else that is part of that backpack.
That's bad.
Well, it's funny.
Oh, it's a good one. You see that all over the league, of course. Whoever the youngest member of the bullpen, takes out whatever they use to take the gum and the sunflower seeds and all the stuff out there.
And the candy.
Yeah, and the candy, and it's Michael Schwimmer this time.
Well, there you see it. Michael Schwimmer called up from Lehigh Valley, where he was outstanding in the minor leagues this year. Placido Polanco placed on the 15-day DL with a sports hernia, and Joe Blanton's been transferred to the 60-day DL. Now, that's not that big of a deal because he's been on the disabled list for, more than the 15 days he was originally put on. So going to the 16-day DL frees up a 40-man roster spot, and that's the spot that Michael Schwimmer takes. Let's take a look at the Arizona Diamondbacks starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off at shortstop, Willie Bloomquist. Batting second, the second baseman, Ryan Roberts. Justin Upton hits third, followed by Chris Young and Paul Goldschmidt. Cody Ransom, the former Phillies, over at third base, batting sixth. Colin Cowgill, the left fielder, hits seventh. Henry Blanco bats eighth, and batting ninth and pitching is left-hander Joe Saunders, a former Philly draft pick. And they will face Philly left-hander Cliff Lee. 32-year-old is bat ready to make his 25th start. Wills, he's on one of those streaks again.
Yeah, he was unbelievable, Tom, of course, in the month of June. Then he struggled a little bit in July. Back on another one now with consecutive innings, throwing great baseball, swinging the bat. And, he's Cliff Lee. Look, left-handed hitters only hitting 199 against him. Southwest Airlines scouting report. You just throw all those pitches there, and then he goes out there and shows you what he has on a given night. Career against Arizona, 2-1. He actually lost a game to them this year, and he struck out 14 in that game and lost. Time now for our Nissan keys of the game. To say this is a perfect night for baseball would be totally redundant. Well, one of the great things about this sport is you get a chance to rebound after a game like last night, and that was a very difficult loss, but go get them tonight. Hey, they're playing a very hot team right now in these Arizona Diamondbacks. Kurt Gibson has them playing the game really hard. Watch the way they run out the ground balls. They like to steal bases, and they think they can beat you right now. So the Phillies, they have their work cut out for them right now. There's Lyle Overbay on the left, who got the double off Roy Halladay on the right. Overbay is on the bench tonight with Lee pitching. In fact, they have an all left-handed hitting bench for later on in the ball game.
Well, here we go. The first pitch of the night from Cliff Lee to Willie Bloomquist is taken low, so underway. The count is 1 ball and no strikes. Bloomquist last night was 0 for 4. See his numbers against lefties this year. Overall hitting .274 with 4 home runs. The 33-year-old who finished last year with the Cincinnati Reds. And it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, they emptied their bench tonight of right-handed hitters. Saunders, a pitcher, left-handed hitter, and that's it.
Yeah, a lot of folks thought it would be the same lineup as last night, but with the lefty, Kirk Gibson had to change it. There's a strike, and it's 2-1. Cliff Lee, like Roy Halladay, has been very good here at Citizens Bank Park this year. He's 8-2 with a 2.26 earned run average. And a liner to center field. Victorino is there, and he makes the catch. That one got down on the hands on Willie Bloomquist, so 1 away. Halladay and the Phillies had won his last 10 starts prior to last night. And according to Elias, last night's 9th inning blown win is the first time he was leading going into the 9th where he lost the game in his career. That's amazing.
It wasn't just at home, it was ever?
At home.
At home, right.
Yeah.
Because he had lost one in 2007, but then they came out with that even more, that he had never lost a game at home leading
amazing.
in the night. It is amazing. And, Charlie's been over and over and over. There's a lot of second guessing whether he should have been out there last night. I don't know. You and I, at the time, even think about it. Just thought he should have been out there. But, you know, that's one of the great things about baseball. Everybody has their opinions, and it didn't work out. You know, you bring a relief pitcher in there and he gets hit, then what are you taking him out for?
Well, so, Charlie told us earlier this year, and we had a similar situation against the Nationals when Halladay was in a little bit of trouble in the ninth inning, got out of it. He said, I wasn't going to take him out of the game. He was either going to win or lose the game, or we were going into extra innings, and he took the same tack last night.
I'll be honest, I thought he was going to get out of it, especially it went up and butted through that third strike. You know, that's a good sign right there. But, or I mean, after Young bunted through the third strike, but Overbay got a big hit.
Off the end of the bat, Mayberry toward the alleyway is there. 2 outs here in the first. During the 2011 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. So 2 outs here in the first. Here is Justin Upton, who got the rally started last night in the ninth inning. Halladay said after the ball game he thought that he had him struck out, but instead a pitch he threw to Upton was called a ball by Vic Carapazza, and then eventually he lined a single to center and scored the tying run.
Yeah, and it was a changeup that really moved all over the place, and Ruiz had to move his glove a lot. It's hard to ever get a call on a pitch like that. And then he made a mistake. The pitch he made the mistake on the most, though, is he elevated a pitch to Montero, and then he threw a high cutter to Overbay. And now we've been through that whole thing, and let's go get him tonight.
0-2 the count.
Yeah, that would have been a tough strike to call, I think.
Well, there is Carapazza. Jeff Nelson's at second. He's the crew chief. Bill Welke at first. Marty Foster behind the plate. 0-2 the count. And a breaking ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Upton and Young with 8 home runs apiece against lefties. And a swing and a miss. He's down on strikes. A 1-2-3 first inning for Cliff Lee. 13 pitches, and he gets his first strikeout of the night. We go to the bottom of the first. Diamondbacks nothing. Phillies coming up. Quickly turn the page because you have another one that's coming upon you pretty quick. So let's take a look at his starting lineup for tonight's ball game, brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off at shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. Shane Victorino bats second. Chase Utley hits third, followed by Ryan Howard and Hunter Pence. Here's where the changes come in. John Mayberry's in left field. He'll bat sixth. Wilson Valdez at third base bats seventh. Brian Schneider does the catching tonight for Carlos Ruiz. We'll explain that in a moment. And Cliff Lee is on the mound, and they'll face 30-year-old left-hander Joe Saunders, who's 8-9 this year, a 3.76 ERA. 25 starts. He's been, I guess you could say, up and down for a lot of the year, but he had a very good month of July.
Yeah, his last six games, he's had 20 of his 24 starts. He's pitched at least 6 innings in those games. So he does give them innings, Tom, as you look at the numbers on him. One thing about him, though, he's a prolific ground ball pitcher. We talked about John Lannon the other night. Well, he's second in line in throwing ground ball double plays. As you look at the Southwest Airlines scouting report, his fastball is a sinker.
Jimmy Rollins sends one in the air to left center field. It's pretty deep. Cowgill on the run, and that one is gone. Right out of the chute, Rollins with his 14th home run. It's his 37th leadoff home run of his career, and the Phillies lead it 1-0. And Ron Nair, well, we didn't let you know that you were the contestant, but you've just won $100 thanks to the McDonald's home run jackpot.
Well, one thing about a sinker ball pitcher is they want to keep it down. And watch where this thing is. Boy, he elevates that pitch, and Jimmy swinging first ball. That's a long one, too, over the 387 and well out of here. And that is, what, 21 home runs now thrown by Saunders, 17 of them by right-handed hitters.
And statistically, this should not come as a surprise, because the guy that leads off the game against Saunders, which Rollins just did, entered tonight's ball game with a .542 batting average.
Yeah, he has numbers that remind you of Roy Halladay a little bit, and a lot of guys, a lot of leadoff batters get on against him in the first inning where he gives up runs, and also throughout the game the leadoff batter gets on.
Well, it's 1 ball and 1 strike, 2 balls and 1 strike to Victorino.
Well, he's now given up 18 first inning runs in 25 games started.
Victorino's hit it 6 straight. He and Rollins both homered against Saunders the last time the Phillies faced Arizona. A good way to start the ball game.
And Jimmy pulled that home run in Arizona against Saunders down the left field line. That one was crushed to the gap in right and left center.
There's ball 4, and Victorino's aboard. He wasn't sure if that was going to be called a strike or not.
Well, we just talked about, Tom gave the numbers on the batting average, and I gave the numbers on the runs scored. So this is a good guy to jump early if he can.
Well, Rollins all smiles in the Phillies dugout. He's given his team the early lead. Such a weapon to have a guy that can lead off a game like that with that kind of pop.
Well, his hero was the best of all time at doing that, Ricky Henderson.
And there was some thought that Alfonso Soriano would eventually pass Ricky Henderson, but he's no longer a leadoff hitter.
Well, he's barely in the lineup a lot of games, the way his career has been going.
Victorino has stolen 15 bases. Utley, who's up now, is hitting .285 with 8 home runs, 36 runs batted in. He was 3 for 4 in last night's ball game.
The right-handed hitters are hitting .286 against Saunders. Left-hand hitters .217. And remember, we talked about his ground balls. Once he gets it going, that's when he's strong. He'll throw ground balls and a lot of double plays. And there's a look at it right there. Lannon, Morton, and then Saunders for National League leaders in ground ball double plays.
On the inside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike.
The Phillies really handled Lannon here the other night, of course, with the help of a poor defense behind him. But they had 7 runs off him in that game, only 1 earned.
Phillies had 7 unearned runs overall in that ball game. Well, statistically, during the course of this season, the top 3 hitters have been the most profitable against Saunders. 1, 2, and 3 in the order are hitting .325, not counting Rollins' home run. But counting Rollins' home run, they have 26 extra base hits against him. Part of the reason why he's given up so many first inning runs. And the Phillies have gotten a first inning run here tonight.
16 base runner have attempted to steal on him, 7 successful. Looks like his times are, if you guess right on a pitch, you can run on him. But if you don't, he holds you close enough that you're not going to be able to steal a bag.
Utley pops it foul off to the left and out of play. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
The guy behind the plate tonight has always been a good catcher and thrower too, and Henry Blanco, very good backup catcher.
Whereas Miguel Montero has 10 errors, the starter for the Diamondbacks, Henry Blanco, does not have an error this year.
Oh, Hank White.
Yeah.
Love that when they say that about him.
Chipper Jones used to call him that all the time.
Yeah.
cue shot toward third. Cody Ransom waits for it, throws to second for one. That's all they'll get. So Victorino's retired. 5-4 on the putout. And one away here in the first. And here comes Ryan Howard, the National League leader in runs batted in with 95. He's driven in 21 runs in his 22 ball games. In the 3 games on this homestand, he has 4 runs batted in. Working with 3 infielders on the right side, including the shortstop Willie Bloomquist. Lays off, and it's 1 ball and no strikes.
Saunders really stayed away from Chase Utley in that at bat. It looks like he's going to do the same thing to Ryan Howard. So you know, Oppo Boppo, as you would call it, could come into play here if he'll hit the ball the other way.
See, Howard 6 RBIs more than Prince Fielder. Right side. Roberts to second for 1. Ransom's turn in time. That's a 4-5-3 double play. And the side is retired. Jimmy Rollins, though, gives the Phillies the early lead. He jumps on a pitch from Saunders and puts it into the seats. Over the 387 mark, Phillies lead it 1-0. For your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry, get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Phillies.com for details. We go to the top of the second. Cliff Lee will face Chris Young, Paul Goldschmidt, Cody Ransom. By the way, I just want to clarify one thing we were talking about in the first inning. We talked about Roy Halladay losing last night, that it was the first time at home that he had a lead in the 9th inning, lost the lead, and his team lost the game. It's the first time ever for Roy Halladay.
That is amazing.
Chris Young leads it off, and he takes outside. 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, that all factored into them leaving him out there. They knew that. Hey, the guy's never lost a game at home in the 9th inning.
Rich Doobie said that Antonio Bastardo was warming up last night because he needed work. It wasn't that he was going to commit to the ball game. There's Lyle Overbay, who gave the Diamondbacks the victory. And he had a lot of people in front of his locker today in the clubhouse. Rich Doobie said that Ryan Matson is the closer. Bastardo was up if there was a need at some point, but it was more because he hadn't worked in a while. As that pitch is up high, it's 3-1 to Chris Young.
This guy can light one up every once in a while. You get behind the count to him. He is deceptively strong.
late on that fastball, and it's 3-2.
You can pitch to him more than Upton, but he has tremendous power. You know, he looks like he's not a real big guy, but boy, he can buggy whip.
Up and in, ball 4. So Young's aboard with a leadoff walk here in the second. Only the 35th walk allowed by Cliff Lee this year. Powerade Ion 4. Focus, hustle, hydrate, believe.
This kid is a pretty good minor league hitter. Huh?
He was a really good minor league hitter. Born in Wilmington, Delaware. Told me today that his mom and dad both worked for DuPont, so they lived in Wilmington. He said he thought for 4 or 5 years. He was only there for a year. He said he's never gone back, but he heard it was a nice place.
Well, there's a few people from Delaware that have worked for DuPont over the years.
Yeah. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Giants have taken a 1-0 lead over the Braves. Pablo Sandoval, an RBI double.
Matt Cain's starting that game tonight, I think, for the Giants, and he always seems to have first inning trouble. That's how the Phillies beat him a couple weeks ago. Got 2 in the first, and that was it.
Well, he's allowed a few base runners in his half of the first.
Bases loaded, 2 outs.
Foul ball by Goldschmidt. It's 2-1.
His starts, it's amazing when you track Matt Cain, how many times he'll get hurt a little bit in the first inning, and then that's about it. If he's pitching tonight, he was supposed to.
He is pitching tonight.
I think Jurgens was coming back, wasn't he?
Jurgens is pitching for the Braves.
Off the DL. The Delgado kid did a nice job for them last night.
Another foul ball. It's 2-2. Goldschmidt, when he was called up this year, had 30 home runs at Double-A. You thought that was impressive? Well, last year, in a full season in the minors, he had 35 home runs. But he will strike out.
Yeah, well, he's a young player, and you should be able to find some holes. But, you know, if you hit his happy zone, he is really strong.
Low ball 3, 3-2.
Lee out of whack a little bit here in this inning. These guys like to run a lot. Now, as Tom just said, Goldschmidt strikes out. So we'll see whether or not that they would start their runner. They ran a lot last night.
Young leads off first, being held on by Howard. And now time is called. Goldschmidt last year in 138 games in the minor leagues struck out 161 times. He was better this year in the minors. Runner doesn't go. That ball is drilled left center field. It's deep. Victorino's back, and that one is gone. A 2-run home run for Goldschmidt, and Cliff Lee's scoreless streak is over after 18 innings. And the Diamondbacks take a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, that's what we're just talking about with him. You know, he is amazingly strong, and if you miss a spot, he got a chance to hurt you, and that ball was trouble when he hit it. Tried to get it in on him. You see Brian Schneider reaching, but it never got in. Man, did he open up quickly. Well, he got his hips out of the way in a hurry, like all good power hitters do, and hit the ball in the ballpark.
Well, that's his 3rd major league home run. RBIs 8 and 9. And that'll bring Cody Ransom to the plate. Rollins' estimated distance went 405. That one went into the same neighborhood. Might have been a little shorter, but not by much.
See, he's falling behind the hitters in this inning. All of a sudden, he's gotten out of whack, where he's really consistent in the first inning, and he's gotten hurt here.
Ransom lifts it in the air, shallow right, long run for Pence, and he gets to a spot, makes the catch. 1 away. That home run was the 15th allowed by Lee. We mentioned he had an 18-inning scoreless streak coming into the second inning. It was 17 innings coming into tonight. Goldschmidt, though, launched the 2-run home run that ends the scoreless streak. How about this year? Lee has had a 34-inning scoreless streak and an 18-inning scoreless streak.
And that was the 11th home run ball to a right-handed hitter. He's probably, excuse me, Tom, he's probably more angry about the walk than the homer, because he knows he's going to throw home run balls, because that's what happens with him. But walking guys, no, that's not his game. Limit it to a solo.
Colin Cowgill is the hitter. He opens up, lifts it to shallow left. And John Mayberry has plenty of time to come under it, makes the catch, 2 outs. Well, Cliff Lee, we talked about, has had a lot of success here at Citizens Bank Park, but so have the Phillies. They've only lost back-to-back games here at the ballpark, twice this year, and 5 times for the season overall. Pretty impressive stuff. The first time was the Brewers, the 18th and 19th. Then the Giants, the 27th and 28th. Then they went on a long winning streak after that, the back-to-back losses to the Giants.
Well, speaking of the Brewers, since you just brought them up, Phillies have a 42-20 home record. Sounds pretty good. Brewers 46-15. That's ridiculous. And on the road, they're 10 under 500, but 46-15 at Miller Park.
Well, we have been there when the atmosphere is pretty good, like the postseason a couple years ago.
Yeah, the fans are great out there. It's a great baseball town. Milwaukee always has been, especially when you're playing well the way that team is.
0-2 the count to Henry Blanco. And he lets it go by. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Blanco hitting .237. 5 home runs, 8 runs batted in.
Only one other team in Major League Baseball has 40 wins at home, and that's the Yankees, who are 40-24.
Hit hard toward third, picked on 1 hop by Valdez. I thought he picked it out of the air. He looked at the third base umpire, Carapazza, who put the safe side up. He threw over to first. The side is retired. Diamondbacks take the lead on a 2-run home run by Paul Goldschmidt. We go to the bottom of the second. The 2011 season, and Howie believes key off-season moves are a formula for success. Watch Birds of Summer Sunday night at 6:30, 10:30 only on Comcast Sports Net. 2-1 Arizona. We go to the bottom of the second. It'll be Hunter Pence, John Mayberry, and Wilson Valdez who will lead it off for the Phillies. Home run by Jimmy Rollins to start the first for the Phillies, and then a 2-run home run by Paul Goldschmidt in the second. And that's where we are.
They started the game, Phillies started the game homer walk, and these guys in the second inning went walk homer, so they're leading by 1.
They both home runs in basically the same spot.
Yeah.
Pence hits it hard down the left field line. That one's heading toward the corner, and he's headed on to second base. Played well by Cowgill, and Pence pulls into second with a leadoff double. Well, that's funny. Pence's utensils. Let's go eat.
Let's go eat. Hey, a change up. He hit it off the end of the bat a little bit, but boy, did he hook it down the line. That thing got down that line in a hurry. He put on one of those BP shows today with just unbelievable. Hitting balls on the upper deck all over the place.
Well, he is safe at second, safe and secure with New York Life. His t-shirt jersey and regular jersey popping up everywhere around the ballpark, as you would imagine.
He got a chance to be big in this town.
Here's John Mayberry getting the start in left field against the left-hander.
I don't know if this is a get him over, get him in situation either. And they, of course, will tell him that. Sometimes they'll even, well, not before he comes up because he just got the double, but Juan Samuel will do that at third base. They have a way of signaling that.
Oh, and 1 the count to Mayberry.
I say that because Saunders is not a hard throwing left-hander. He's a guy that right-handers can hit some home runs off, and I just don't think they're going to have him up there just saying, all right, give yourself up and hit a ground ball the right side.
No offense, 7 and 8 are not the most prolific hitters for the Phillies, particularly in tonight's lineup.
Right, and one of them's a left-handed hitter too, in Brian Schneider, because Ruiz can't play tonight. Anybody who watched last night probably understands why.
Yeah, Carlos was thought to be in the lineup tonight, but the ball that he took off the groin in last night's ball game, well, has left him a little wobbly today.
Oof. Amazing he finished that game.
He's been diagnosed with a contusion, and here it is. That knocked the wind out of him for a few minutes, boy, I'll tell you, and he was able to continue.
Knocked that wind out of a lot of people watching that.
Two and two the count to Mayberry. Of his last 23 hits, 17 of those hits have been extra base hits for Mayberry.
They're shading him a little bit towards right center, basically taking the alleys away from him, giving him the lines.
The 2-2. Hit foul. He got a pretty good pitch to drive there, and it remains 2-2. Well, back to the out-of-town scoreboard. Chipper Jones walked with the bases loaded to tie up the Giants. They're now at the bottom of the second.
He's hitting down the order a little bit there, huh? Chipper Jones, a walk in the first inning. At that point, with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Inning 6, maybe, huh?
Yeah, they've had a lot of injuries, and he's had his share. It's kind of slowed him up this year. They signed Wes Helms to a minor league contract. The Braves did. He had been with the Braves, of course, to start his career. As Pence gets back to second, Saunders stepped off, and now Blanco goes out to the mound to talk with Saunders. So 2 balls and 2 strikes the count to Mayberry. Back toward the middle, a base hit into center field. Pence is going to slip at third and still be able to score. An RBI single for Mayberry, It was an odd one, but the Phillies have tied it up at 2.
You think they would appeal that too? It looked like he did retouch, but
did he slide into third thinking that the ball was a ground ball and it might be a play?
I don't think so. Well, Juan Samuel was windmilling him the whole way. You know, he just does some strange. He did slide. He did slide. Unbelievable. Now he'll have to explain that one. I mean, that's a ground ball to his left.
Well, maybe he didn't understand the signal.
What could he think happened there? I mean, if that ball went to his left, why would they come to third?
That was a good slide.
It was a little late.
Well,
I don't believe I just saw that. You see the Cody Ransom? Cody Ransom's down there going,
well,
what was that all about?
He played with him in Houston, so he knows him.
What was he doing? There's Cody, who won a game for the Phillies here with a home run last year, tied it, and then they won it later. That was amazing. That just adds to the legend of Hunter Pence.
Ransom from the third base bag flips it to second for one, and then Roberts flipped it right into the dugout. So Valdez will get second. And there's one out. John Mayberry made sure that he was going to break up a double play on that slide at second.
You know, Tom, when a ball leaves an infielder's hand and it looks high to us up here, it's got to really be high. And when that thing left his hand, I thought, that thing is really high. It's a nice play there by Ransom. Perfect throw. As you said, Mayberry blows this up. Look how high that was. He just airmailed it.
Closest guy to that was Andy Rabel, our cameraman down in the dugout.
That's one where he would obviously been much better served to put it in his pocket.
So Valdez is at second.
Some strange stuff going on this inning, isn't it?
Yep. That's an E4, by the way, and Schneider swing and a miss. It's 0-1.
I can't wait to hear what Hunter Pence was thinking, why he would slide into third base.
Here's the thing. I would think the explanation for Juan Samuel would be better to set it up.
Oh, well, that definitely going to go to Sammy for that one, because he almost blew a rotator cuff down there. He was waving him so hard. Still laughing about it. That was different. And then again, so is he.
In a very good way.
Oh, it's great.
Inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Chopper right side. Saunders makes the play. There are 2 outs. That was a good play. If he didn't make it, it would have been a tough one for Roberts to make to get over to first.
Didn't that base hit was hit? You're on second. You're coming around third base. What's going through your head?
Good game. Let's go eat.
Well, Sergeant Hunter Pence have started a pretty good thing here in Philadelphia. Good game. Let's go eat. Pence proverb #1. It's a hip new retail item that's now available exclusively through the Phillies. Go to the Majestic Clubhouse store. It's open daily from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. Hunter was wearing that T-shirt during early hitting today. I said, hey, I heard you had the T-shirt on. He goes, yeah, I wore it during early hitting. Did you see it? And I did. And it's taken on a life of its own, and he even acknowledged that it's taken on more of a life than he ever anticipated.
Sounded like a good idea at the time.
Valdez breaks for home, and Lee hits it back toward the middle. Roberts backhands, throws in time, and Lee can't believe it. Cliff Lee smelled a hit, he smelled an RBI, and he smelled a lead. But the first base umpire, Bill Welke, well, he had other ideas, and Charlie Manuel's coming out to chat as this inning comes to a close. Ryan Roberts got to the ball well, flipped it over to first. Boy, that's an awfully close play, and Lee, well, he thought he was safe. Information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. Wills, here's the question. What player is the last Philly to have back-to-back 200-hit seasons? The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. Phillies and Diamondbacks tied at 2 as we go to the 3rd. Joe Saunders and then Willie Bloomquist and Ryan Roberts. 9-1-2 for the D-backs. Take a look at that play that ended the inning. There's Goldschmidt with the stretch. Lee got him by about a half a step.
He's out.
So
Good call.
Bill Welke made the right call. Charlie Emanuel came out to dispute.
Well, I couldn't tell they slowed it up like that. That was too hard to tell. Shows you how good they are. You know, I know umpires take a lot of heat, whatever, but they really get most of them right. And look what we had to do with that to get it right.
Yeah, naked eye from back behind home plate. It looked like he had beaten it.
I thought he beat it too.
0-2 the count to Saunders. Saunders, a 190 hitter. Diamondbacks staff as a whole, first in the National League in hitting at 188.
Excuse me, Tom. How about how hard Lee ran that ball out? He's just different. He and Pence.
Chopper back toward the mound over the head of Lee, picked up or no, dropped by Chase Utley. And a base runner for the Diamondbacks. They'll score that a hit.
Well, do or die play. He's probably going to get him if he could have gloved it. But Saunders was really hustling coming out of the box too. Now here comes Chase Utley. He's going to have to glove that and throw on the run, and it just didn't come up as high as he thought the hop was going to come up, and he doesn't catch it.
So that's a second hit for the Diamondbacks. The other was the home run by Goldschmidt. And back to the top of the order for Willie Bloomquist. Bloomquist is making his 36th appearance at shortstop this year, and the 185th of his career. He's a utility guy to the fullest extent. Most of his games, though, have been played as an outfielder.
Guys like Willie Bloomquist are really important to teams that can do what you just said. Just play all over the place.
To the count to Bloomquist, now 33 years old. Started his career with the Kansas City Royals. I mentioned last year he finished with the Cincinnati Reds. Liner to center, right at Victorino, one away. Saunders goes back to first. Well, this gives us a chance to remind everyone that if they're feeling lucky, the Powerball is up to $25 million. The Mega Millions at $32 million. Powerball goes off every Tuesday and Friday, and the Mega Millions, Mega Millions Tuesday and Friday. The Powerball Wednesday and Saturday. If you win both of them, well, you're really lucky.
The odds on that would be.
Ryan Roberts, the batter. Roberts fly to shallow left his first time up.
Not holding the pitcher on at first base. Saunders, Ryan Howard playing off, and just give him a little courtesy glove tap. Just say, well, we know you're there, but we don't think you're going to go anywhere. We want to make sure.
Oh, and 2 the count. I mentioned last night that Ryan Roberts was a teammate of Hunter Pence in college. Pretty remarkable that two players from the University of Texas, Arlington, make it to the big leagues And it turned out to be pretty productive big league players. And a call, strike 3. Roberts down looking 2 away.
It's good for Cliff Lee tonight because Marty Foster's calling that cutter into these right-handed hitters. Kirk Gibson didn't like it. You know, he's just sticking up for his player there. But with all these right-handed batters, Lee wants to get in there once in a while. And there he throws one. I don't know. It looked like a strike unless he thought it was low.
It did look like a pretty good pitch. So 2 strikeouts for Lee. And here's Justin Upton, the other strikeout victim. Out in front of an off-speed pitch. It's 0-1.
Started with a changeup after a lot of cut fastballs early in this game to these hitters. Figured he's looking to hit the ball out of the ballpark maybe on the first pitch, and he swung over that.
On the hands, a pop up toward third. Valdez gives the sign that he's got it, and the side is retired. Well, leadoff single by the pitcher, Joe Saunders, by the boards. We play 2.5. It's on to the bottom of the third. Phillies and Diamondbacks tied at 2. Stores. By AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. And by Acura. Acura. Advance. Oh, a nice night to sit and enjoy a ball game here at Citizens Bank Park. Jimmy Rollins homered to start the ball game for the Phillies at the bottom of the first. And, you know, he did it the last time out against Saunders on the 27th of April.
Yeah, that's when we were talking about that he pulled that one down the left field line, hit it deep into the seats. And tonight he goes more towards left center, way out over that 387, second row. What'd you say it was, 400 some feet?
405, they say. Yeah. That's the estimated distance. Well, speaking of that leadoff home run, let's take a look at our Mazda Major League all-time leaders. Leadoff home runs. Jimmy Rollins is on that list. And we mentioned Ricky Henderson sits atop that list at 81. Alfonso Soriano, 54. Craig Biggio. Brady Anderson with 44 leadoff home runs during his career.
Well, Brady Anderson probably got a lot of them the year he hit 50.
Mentioned that Soriano, everybody thought would eventually break Ricky Henderson's record. Rollins takes a 55-footer for a ball. When he went to the Cubs, and I guess it really started at some points with the Nationals, that's when he was moved from the leadoff spot. But he had a chance.
Oh yeah, that's the one guy you looked at and thought could do it if he stayed up there, and would do it.
1-0 the count to Rollins. 2-0.
Saunders thought that pitch was over. Marty Foster's appealing it, but he thought he had a call. Should have had a call third or call strike there.
And ball 4. Rollins walks on 4 pitches. Second walk issued by Saunders. Saunders not happy with Marty Foster, and he's kind of letting him know. And Foster's going to clean up the plate a little bit.
He walked out in front of the plate, took the mask off, took a look out there, and then Saunders looked away. So he just finished cleaning the plate. But no, he wasn't angry at that last pitch. That was obviously ball 4. It was the 2-0.
Here's Victorino. Walked his first time up. See Shane's overall average at 312. Against lefties, he's hitting 361. In reality, he's the only one that's been consistently good against left-handed pitching. Phillies have 29 home runs against left-handed pitchers. 85 against right-handers. There goes Rollins. Pitch is taken high. The throw by Blanco right into the base path. One away.
Talked about what a good catcher and thrower he is. And he had a perfect pitch to handle. Well, you couldn't have a better throw if you're an infielder, too. You had all times to get ready for this. Look, it's almost like a pitch out. Look how quick his feet are. As you said, Tom throws it right into the base path, and Jimmy Rollins just slides into it. Good job of the infielder there to take the bag away.
2-0 the count to Victorino. That's 6 straight out of the strike zone for Saunders.
Yeah, that's why you hate to see somebody get thrown out there when this guy's starting to get a little bit wild, but they thought they saw something that could steal a bag.
Inside, 3-1. Down the left field line. And it just couldn't stay fair. That's a long one. That's right into the Ashburn suite. That's suite 1. A frustrated young fella who thought he had himself a souvenir. He's fortunate he got out of the way of that ball.
Yeah, that's one of the last places you think you're going to get a baseball too, and you come here right over the Budweiser sign, the old down and in, and Shane golfed it out there. Well, foul, but in and out of that box.
This one into foul territory. Ransom sizes it up, and he puts it away. So 2 outs here in the 3rd. The Phillies sold out of season tickets this year. Did you miss your opportunity? Well, with a deposit, fans can now be placed on the priority wait list for 2012 season ticket plans. Deposits do not guarantee a plan, but do hold a place on the priority wait list. See the ticket section at Phillies.com for details. 2 away for Utley, who reached on a fielder's choice his first time up. It's a 2-2 game. Now 0-2 to Utley. Saunders was originally drafted by the Phillies out of high school. He went on to Virginia Tech, and then the Angels took him in the first round in the 2002 draft. He was the 12th overall pick at 0-2. He was traded to the Diamondbacks last year, and he wasn't that pleased about it at the time. But it's worked out because they've become very competitive. And, you know, he's a seasoned guy to have in their rotation.
Traded for a good pitcher, too, in Dan Herron. He won a game with the Angels here a few years ago.
Utley flicks it foul, Ransom's over, and runs out of room. I remember talking about Saunders when he was drafted by the Phillies when the Angels came in. See what he did in 08 with the Angels. Was an all-star, the first left-hander since Chuck Finley to make an all-star game for the Angels. He alluded to his draft by the Phillies, saying he probably would have signed, but they made one offer and then didn't make another, which Marty Wollover, the director of scouting for the Phillies, said that's not really the way it went. As Goldschmidt goes over toward foul territory and makes the catch. The side is retired. So the Phillies go down quietly in the third. We go to the fourth. Chris Young will lead it off for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Post-it notes with adhesive that really sticks. Who but W.B. Mason? Well, 3 in the books here at Citizens Bank Park. We go to the top of the fourth. Phillies and the Diamondbacks all leave it at 2. Chris Young will lead it off. He walked and scored his first time up. And he takes a pitch outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Gary Matthews joins us up here in the booth. He's been watching from a distance these first 3 innings. Cliff Lee. Couple strikeouts. Only 6 away from matching his career high for a season, which is rather impressive.
Not mixing in as many off-speed pitches so far. I think he got hurt on a fastball that was middle end.
Well, this is the third 3-ball count for Lee so far in the game. And the pitch to Young. To center field. Playable for Victorino. And what away here in the fourth. And that'll bring Paul Goldschmidt to the plate. Goldschmidt hit a long 2-run home run his first time up. His third here in the majors.
He got that 3-2 fastball. And he didn't miss it. Doesn't seem like he strides all that much.
I met him today, Sarge, for the first time because his numbers in the minor leagues were staggering.
Yeah.
You know, I saw he was born in Wilmington, so I wanted to see if he had spent any time in Wilmington, which he did for, you know, the first year of his life, but then moved to Texas, where he was a high school teammate of Kyle Drabek.
Oh, okay.
Former Phillies #1 pick. And he's got himself some hands. I mean, he is a big kid.
Well, he has big arms. You can see that. And hit that ball a long way.
1-2 the count.
It's one of the things, though, young players usually can do when they get to the major leagues, and that is hit a fastball.
He checks.
It's a good
It's
pitch.
2-2, and Lee thought that was a strike.
You know, those are the pitches that he wants. And you can't continue to throw fastballs. Just middle in, take a look at it, and look to be above the knees as it was going by.
For a guy that has as many home runs as Goldschmidt had in the minor leagues, I guess I would expect a more upright stance, Sarge. You know, not as compact as he looks.
Well, he is compact. Again, he doesn't stride very much. Uses a lot of upper body.
And it's 3-2. Will that have to change, you think, as he gets older?
Well, not necessarily. Depends on how he starts to go. You know, he's sort of stocky. Kind of reminds me of Bob Horner a little bit in being stocky. Big arms. And he takes a healthy cut.
How do you pitch a kid like this?
Well, they're testing him now. I mean, fastballs. He's been laying off of some of the off-speed pitches. Let's see, one thing that Lee has done is he made sure, however, that ball was inside to him.
Swing and a miss. He got him down to a knee. 2 outs here in the fourth. Third strikeout for Lee. And it'll bring Cody Ransom to the plate.
Looks like it be a little bit cutter there as that ball comes out of the zone, or off speed like a changeup. That usually will get a young player. He's in a fast ball mold kind of, I would like to say. Looking for the fastball, gets the changeup, and that's when you usually let that bat fly someplace.
Well, with 2 outs, Cody Ransom's the hitter. He flied to right his first time up. And he hits one toward right again, slicing foul, and out of play.
The changeup is such a tough pitch to hit. Really almost tougher than the curveball, I think, because it has the arm of a fastball, and then it's just coming in a lot slower.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Giants have taken a 2-1 lead over the Braves. Mike Fontenot has a double and a run scored. He's 2 for 2 against Jair Jurgens. Giants trailed the Diamondbacks by 3.5 in the West. It's funny you talk about the changeup being tougher to hit, and so many kids. I mean, we're getting ready to watch the Little League World Series in Williamsport. All those regionals have taken place. So many kids are throwing more breaking pitches than, let's say, that pitch right there, the changeup.
Well, the changeup is just such a great weapon. You know, again, it looks like a fastball, giving you the fastball motion with the arm, and then when it comes out, it comes off very soft.
And a call, strike 3. That was a fastball right at the knee. Strikeout number 4 for Lee. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4th inning. Little free baseball for a young fan behind the Phillies dugout. That's a pretty good pitching right there by Lee. He's retired 6 in a row as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Or visit ChevyDealer.com. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now. By Citizens Bank. We're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. And by Honda. See your Honda dealer. Discover the great values now being offered. Joe Saunders delivers a strike to Ryan Howard. We start the bottom of the 4th. Phillies and Diamondbacks tied at 2. Two of the 3 teams who have the best records in the National League since the All-Star break. Milwaukee has the best record, Sarge, at 23-8.
They're playing really good ball.
Then the Phillies at 21-8. Then the Diamondbacks at 20-10.
You start winning these ball games, all of a sudden that confidence comes, and well, you just feel that every time you go out there, it's just some kind of way you're going to win the game.
Well, while the Diamondbacks have won 20 games since the break, the San Francisco Giants are 14-17 since the break. So that's why Kirk Gibson's crew has been able to take over first place in the National League West. See what he's done since taking over for A.J. Hinch. He was the bench coach for A.J. 103, 102.
Well, there are a lot of people thought maybe he would not make a good manager because he was so intense. A little difficult to get players to play these days when you're on them or you go to the paper on them. And you got to say, though, that Kirk Gibson's his team has responded to the way that he has been managing.
3-0 the count to Hunter Pence. Well, I talked to Cody Ransom about that today. You know, Cody played last year for the Phillies and got a chance to go home. He's living at home. He gets a chance to be with his kids and take them to school, which is a cool thing. And he said that Kirk Gibson and Charlie Manuel are 2 very different managers to play for, but that the intensity that Gibson has really rubbed off on a lot of the younger kids. He said there's little things that Gibson will say that really sink in for the younger kids. He said that's basically the whole staff is that way.
Yeah. You can see the variety of the players that he has in the lineup. Not afraid to play anyone, and he feels that by playing the younger guys down, they'll be able to help him down the line.
Penn sits it the opposite way, and it remains 3-2.
Hunter loves swinging at that fastball. Doesn't matter if it's high or down. He usually takes a pretty healthy cut at it.
He's having one of those at bats again, like he had last night. It was a 12-pitch at bat last night. He wound up striking out.
Yeah, that was a pretty good pitch too. 3-2 all speed pitch last night as they struck him out with the bases loaded.
And there's ball 4. So third walk issued by Saunders. Phillies have a base runner with 1 out. Now get Philly sports on the go. Be the first to know everything about your favorite teams right from the palm of your hand. Your teams right now. Download the free CSN Sports app today. John Mayberry singled his first time up and eventually did get an RBI after Penn slid into third and then came home.
Yeah, that was a little weird there. I didn't know if he was sliding or if he was slipping, but he did get up and manage to score.
We showed it, Sarge. It was a flat-out slide.
Was it?
Yeah.
Samuel kind of looked at him like, what are you doing?
Not sure if he could have done anything else but just look at him weird. Up the third base line. Blanco gives way to Ransom in foul territory. And there are 2 outs. So Pence remains at first. And Wilson Valdez will be the hitter. Valdez reached on a fielder's choice. Michael Martinez and Wilson Valdez have been sharing the time over third with the injury to Placido Polanco. And Charlie Manuel decided to go with Valdez today for no real reason, but the fact that he is going to keep splitting time between these two guys. He feels like Valdez is a stronger hitter from the right side. Talked to Polanco today, and he said that in the offseason he will eventually have surgery to repair the sports hernia, but that his hope is that this time off will make him healthy enough to contribute in September. Yeah,
because if they did anything now, he probably would not be ready for postseason. Obviously, if they get there, but as long as you can go out and play and not injure it anymore, I think that's what most of the athletes are more worried about. So when the doctor says, hey, you can go out and play, you're not going to hurt it anymore, you can get it fixed at the end of the season, okay. And you can go on and do exactly that and follow the plan.
0-1 the count to Valdez. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, back down to Atlanta, the Giants have tacked on a few more. Matt Cain's helped himself out with a sacrifice fly. It's 5-1 San Francisco. We had talked the other night about Brian Wilson blowing the save in the first game of that series between the Braves and the Giants. Well, Wilson was checked out by Dr. James Andrews today. He had a little tenderness in his elbow. There were some reports that he had an achy back as well, but they did find inflammation in the elbow for Wilson, but there's no damage. Not sure what that means for his for the next few days, but
I'm sure they're going to try and calm it down before you actually get in the game again. But keep in mind, you know, when they get up and they're throwing, they get heated up, it's almost as if they're in the game. There's a lot of throws that those relievers have in their arms.
On the hands, a looper toward first, caught by Goldschmidt, and the Phillies are retired here in the fourth. So no runs, no hits, one man left. We've completed 4. We go to the 5th in Philadelphia. All leave it up at 2 apiece. American Red Cross Blood Drive. Presenting donors will receive a special Shane Victorino jersey-style T-shirt. Get a tour of the ballpark, plus photo ops with the World Series trophy from 2008. So don't forget to bring your camera. The need is constant. The gratification is instant. Give blood. For more information and to register, see redcrossblood.org/Phillies. On to the 5th. It's a 2-2 game. Colin Cowgill leads it off for the Diamondbacks. And it's no balls and 1 strike. Well, Lee has got Marty Foster's strike zone down now. That cutter makes it no balls at 2 strikes.
It's a real good point. He's throwing that ball on the inside. Snyder calling for it again in there.
And on the outside corner, called strike 3. He has 3 straight strikeouts. 1 away here in the 5th. 5 strikeouts overall, 182 on the season for Lee.
Well, he's just out there having fun, and why not? You got an arm like that, you're going to have fun. That ball actually almost right down the middle. I don't know exactly what the young man was looking for. You know, a lot of times they'll start to guess and look for something they can't hit, like the breaking ball.
Henry Blanco was guessing, and he lifts it toward the track in left center field. He nearly guessed right. Got a fastball, and he just got under it. 2 away. So 8 in a row retired by Lee. There are a lot of great things about Lee. Watching him pitch, if you watch him on a consistent basis, you know he's going to strike guys out, but he's not going to hide his emotions out on the mound. You know, he realizes that he may have just gotten away with a pitch there, and you could see it in his body language. when he got the ball back from his infielders that I don't think he was too pleased with what he threw.
Well, you can tell exactly where the ball is hit, the portion of the bat where it's hit for a pitcher to know they end up getting a little bit lucky. No, same for a hitter. He knows when he's got a real good chance for the ball to get out of the ballpark when it's hit in the sweet spot as opposed to maybe down the label a little.
Chopper up the third base line, a foul ball. And we'll do it again with the count 1-2. Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team 1-2-3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity HD Triple Play, your complete lineup for digital TV, lightning fast internet, and home phone. Lee has retired the Diamondbacks in order twice. Needs an out here to do it for a third time. And a swing and a miss. He got him. 6 strikeouts for Lee. Another 1-2-3 inning, 2 in a row. He's retired 9 in a row. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Ryan Schneider will lead it off when we return. All 4 minor league affiliates are close to Philadelphia and easy to visit. Enjoy a fantastic ballpark experience with games all summer long. Visit Phillies.com/minor leagues for more information and to order tickets. Well, if you got a chance to go down to the Phillies farm system this year, you would have seen Michael Schwimmer, who put a Phillies uniform on for the first time tonight and went out to the bullpen. And he's been added to this Phillies bullpen, and what a year he has had. Those are some of the stars that you get a chance to see from year to year. And at this time of the year, sometimes you'll see some of those minor league stars eventually make it to the major leagues. And there's Michael Schwimmer to your right, wearing number 39 with Michael Stutz. Saw him in spring training, Sarge. He had some pretty good stuff, and he's had himself a good year in the minor leagues.
Wow. 9-1 record. Look at that ERA. Well, that's how you can always tell with pitchers when you look at that earned run average. Not so much at the wins and losses.
Although for a reliever, 9-1 is pretty impressive.
Oof, I'll say.
You're playing for a team that comes from behind late, and you're also in some key parts of the game. One and two the count to Schneider, who fouled it away. Schneider hits it back to the box for the second time. This is a little easier play than the first time. And Saunders has the first out, and it'll bring Cliff Lee to the plate. Well, Sarge, his last start against a left-hander.
Yeah, that's his second home run, hitting it off of Ted Lilly, as he can't believe it.
We speculated what his signal was as he came across the plate, and he has himself a little wager going with Kyle Kendrick on who's going to hit the most home runs this year.
Pay up, Kyle.
Kyle's going to start this weekend, so he has a chance to catch him.
He does.
Yeah, doesn't he?
Doesn't have a swing. I mean, I like him. He has more of a base hit, line drive type of swing.
You're giving him no chance whatsoever.
Now, you know, when you get here early, you get a chance to see the pitchers hit when you're here at home. And without a doubt, I mean, Hamels, he hits the ball out of the ballpark there. Lee has pretty good stroke, even though that was not a good one.
I'm going to run it into the base path, trying to get it to the side of Paco. Well, there's still at bats left, so you know, Kyle is still feeling like he has a chance.
Well, I mean, I didn't think a pitcher would hit one home run. That's more than two. That's been done, so maybe he does have a chance. I will say, though, he likes to hit, and he does talk about it.
Well, they all like to hit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one thing in liking to hit, and they'll say they can hit. I mean, you won't go and just say I can hit, and you know that you can't. Yeah, he takes a lot of pride in it, and you know they all do, though. I mean, they're up there, and in a lot of cases, getting the first hit of the game. We've seen that happen several times.
1-1 the count to Rollins, who had the first hit of the game tonight, a home run in the bottom of the first. Two-two ball game here in the bottom of the fifth, and a grounder foul. Tomorrow the series winds down. Ian Kennedy's a 15-game winner. He'll get the ball for the Diamondbacks. Vance Worley will pitch for the Phillies. 3-2 the count to Rollins.
I think that'll be a pretty good test for Vance Worley, seeing whether or not, you know, he can bounce back. He talked about that mound in Dodger Stadium seems to be, or appear to be, a little bit higher than they are at most stadiums.
Rollins down looking. He didn't think so, just by his body language and reaction alone. But it's a 1-2-3 fifth inning for the Diamondbacks. Phillies retired in order. We go to the sixth in a 2-2 game. Earlier that we saw Hunter Pence slide into third, we thought we had seen everything that we would see that's odd at the ballpark. Well, then the Fanatic came out to the field with Bessie the cow. Pulled out some vitamin D milk and then some chocolate milk. Willie Bloomquist leads it off here at the top of the 6th. I think this capacity crowd was held somewhat speechless on that one.
I have to think so. Oh, boy.
Did you know the Fanatic had a cow, Sarge?
No, I sure didn't. Didn't know he could do magic tricks either.
Bloomquist is 0 for 2. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to him. Two and 1 the count. Try to get that fastball over the outer edge as he did earlier in the game. And it's just missing up and away.
Yeah, he loses it from time to time. But usually once he gets it and finds that location, he's been able to hit that consistently.
Bloomquist lifts it down the right field line. Pence on the run in fair territory. 1 away. 10 in a row retired by Lee. And that'll bring Ryan Roberts to the plate.
I like the way Hunter Pence gets to the ball. I mean, he hustles over there, runs over where he doesn't have to drift, gets underneath it, and able to haul the ball in.
So instead of having a few steps left before he gets to the ball, he's there and waiting for it to arrive.
Yeah, you just don't want to drift on the ball. You want to get there as soon as you can, and he does a good job in doing that. Sometimes you wonder whether or not he's going to slow down.
One and 1 the count to Ryan Roberts, who's 0 for 2. He's fly to left. He struck out. Struck out back in the 3rd. This kid who's kind of played himself into being an everyday player for the Diamondbacks.
You know, Kirk Gibson too. I mean, he likes those kind of players that give you 100% daily. He changes his lineup quite a bit. Guys that usually play all the time are in the outfield. And obviously the injuries have made it where a lot of the younger guys are getting a chance to play.
Well, Stephen Drew is the most notable injury that the Diamondbacks have had. He hurt himself sliding into home. It was a gruesome broken ankle. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Roberts. A foul toward the Hall of Fame club. That gentleman, I think, got one right in the kisser. Yeah, right there.
Well, let's see. Oh.
At least a ricochet.
You can see why you need to have your glove there. Pretty close pitch. If he has that glove, he can kind of get out of the way a little bit and one-handed. Sure that people are going to let him know he was on television and took it right off the face.
It's not an easy job being a fan, Sarge.
No, well, I mean, too, one of the reasons it looked like it might have hit someone else.
She got ricocheted, and there's Mike Stiles, one of the Phillies VPs, making sure everything's okay.
I was going to say that's one of the reasons why Wheels doesn't like trying to catch that ball. He would rather get down and let it ricochet around and then pick it up.
3-2 the count to Roberts. And a line drive, base hit into left field. So 1-out single for Roberts. And he's aboard with his first hit of the series, and it'll bring Justin Upton to the plate. Upton is 0 for 2. He has struck out, and he's popped out to third. .87 pitches so far for Lee, with 1 out here in the 6th.
Well, this is when he wants to make his pitches. One of the better hitters on this team at 25 home runs. It's a good pitch. It's a tough pitch to hit down by the knees, cutting in. Just want to make sure that it's in and don't leave it out over the plate.
Ground ball towards shortstop. Rollins charges, gets one at second. Utley's return in time to get Upton. That's an impressive double play on a ball that was not hit that hard, and Utley was able to brush aside Ryan Roberts to make a clean pivot over to first. 6-4-3, and it wasn't easy. And Cliff Lee is through the 6th. Loving it. Buy the Pennsylvania Lottery. Play 10 times the money. The new instant game from the Pennsylvania Lottery. Must be 18 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. And buy WB Mason. Who but WB Mason for amazingly low office product prices. Phillies and Diamondbacks tied at 2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Not a whole lot of offense in these first 2 games. How about this, Sarge? 45,894. It's the largest regular season crowd in Citizens Bank Park history.
Wow.
I mean, there are a lot of folks walking around Ashburn Alley right now as we speak. You can notice it where you noticed it early on in the ball game. That's pretty impressive.
Well, I'll say it is. And, you know, again, you get used to it, but you don't, because it's so much electricity that the fans will give you on a nightly basis.
You see the Budweiser rooftop, that's all packed. The bleachers that are part of the Budweiser rooftop, they're filled up. That's above Ashburn Alley, and below is just as crowded. Victorino sends one in the air to left, towering fly ball. Not deep enough to get out of the yard, though. Cowgill makes the catch, 1 away.
Only chance he had is if the wind was blowing just a tad. No wind, it seems, is blowing in the stadium.
Well, part of the record-breaking crowd tonight, Sarge's Troops.
Yeah, well, I told them we'd be able to get them on there if they showed that sign up high. Nice going, guys.
Got some youngsters in your troop, huh?
Well, I like kids, and you know that. Little leaguers, they'll be going back to school here pretty soon, so we would expect to see a lot of kids here, I would think, before it's all said and done.
Yeah, they don't like to be reminded of that.
Going back to school.
Yeah. Oh, it won the count to Chase Utley. 0 for 2. How about that, Sarge? Are they selling that at the Majestic Clubhouse store?
Somebody had to have made that, you think?
MLB, right?
I don't know if they're selling those T-shirts there. You know, it's real easy to find out. I wonder what Wills' number would be.
It was number 7 at Marple Newtown. That looks like it's not number 7. 2-2 the count. Well, Scott Brandreth, who is the Phillies director of merchandise, he comes up with some gimmicks. He can sell some gear.
Oh boy.
On the hands, he shattered the bat. A roller to second. Roberts picks it up, and he just barely gets Utley. 2 gone here in the 6th.
Well, it continues to hustle. Got a fastball inside, a little bit too inside.
Rob DiClemente, the Phillies bat boy, picking up pieces. Look at all this, Sarge.
Well, look where the pitch was. He tried to bring those hands in. There's those bats splintering again, like I was talking about. That ball stayed inside and continued to move inside on Chase.
Oh, with 2 gone, Ryan Howard will hit. Takes a breaking ball for strike 1.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, this kid Saunders is pitching a pretty good game. Gives you an indication why this club is in first place, because they have been getting good pitching, timely hitting.
See his line. He went 5 2/3 the last time he faced the Phillies, but he allowed 6 runs on 10 hits.
It's a good pitch to swing at. You know, left-handers do hit low pitches, but sometimes when you're not seeing the ball, you're not hitting any pitch. Whether or not it's a hanger, whether or not it's a fastball right down the middle, it's just that your mechanics is off. Shouldn't be off at this time of the season. You know, we've seen Howard a bunch of times. Sometimes you see him when he strides. Sometimes he doesn't stride. I think you want to try and get to a spot where you're just consistent just about all the time there. It's a little better. Let's see what kind of a pitch he's going to get with Hunter Pence hitting behind him. Don't think he's going to give in to him.
Opposite way. Going back is Cowgill to the track. He jumps and he made the catch. He may have misjudged it, but he still was able to corral it. And the side is retired. The Phillies go down in order. Some pretty good defense by Colin Cowgill out in left field to retire the big piece. We've completed 6. It's on to the 7th here at Philly.
Another good ball game here tonight. Well pitched, both Saunders and Lee, two really good left-handers. You see a couple of home runs. Jimmy Rollins, his 37th career leadoff homer. Young Paul Goldschmidt, his third major league home run. And the Phillies came back with an RBI by John Mayberry Jr. to tie it up. That's what both starters have done. They're both in the game, and here we go to the 7th.
Yeah, and Chris Young will lead it off, Wheels, for the Arizona Diamondbacks, the number 4 hitter in a swing and a miss. Cliff Lee so far has struck out 6 through the first 6. He's allowed 3 hits. In fact, both starters have allowed just 3 hits. Each has allowed a home run. And it's no balls and 2 strikes to Young. Ryan Howard looked like he may have hurt himself on one of these swings. Wheels, take a look at this.
Yeah, you hope, because those are rib cage swings right there. If something goes wrong on a swing like that, and he is wincing a little bit down there. That's the last thing they need to lose their cleanup there.
Now, he did hit a ball to the track in left field for the last out.
Well, it's going to hurt more when you swing and miss than when you make contact. That's always the way. If you do something like that, it'll hurt more.
7 strikeouts for Lee, and 1 out here in the 7th. Well, you hope that Ryan's okay, and that the grimace is just because of the out.
No, you're right. You know, he did do something, and
I didn't know if it was his hip. I mean, you mentioned like an oblique type of strain, but
yeah, you see guys do that in the side area, the rib cage area, when they swing and miss sometimes.
Goldschmidt's 1 for 2. He had a 2-run home run his first time up, struck out his last time up.
Cliff Lee got out of whack in that second inning. He walked the first guy, then he went 3-0 on Goldschmidt, then he went 3-2, and then he hit the home run. And then since then, boom, he's been right back there with everything. I think one more hitter in that inning, he ran a deep count. But for the most part, all of his pitches, then he started to get over, and he really hasn't thrown his curveball that much tonight. That may come later, kind of like what Roy Halladay did last night.
Well, he's at 95 pitches. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Three and 1.
Almost every time when Cliff Lee, there's Cody Ransom on deck, gets wild, it's high. It's almost like there's something in his delivery or his release point.
And ball 4, so Goldschmidt's aboard. It's a 1-out walk here in the 7th. These lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com.
I think they'll try and make something happen right now. Ransom is a swing and miss guy, and is a dead fastball hitter, as we saw when he was with the Phillies. Struggles with off speed stuff. You know, see if they would try to make something happen early in the count with the Diamondbacks here.
Goldschmidt was going back on that pitch to the plate.
Yeah, he had a one-way lead. He really had a lot of weight on his right side, and then whatever he saw from Lee fooled him, and he headed back. Eric Young down there talking in his ear a little bit. It's tough for him to talk in his ear how tall he is. See, that's a strange lead he has with the weight leaning that way. You know, you think you could pick a guy off that does that.
Diamondbacks have stolen 94 bases this year.
That's a big lead for a big man, too. Look how big that lead is.
Ground ball to third. Valdez has it around the horn to second for 1, over to first. A 5-4-3 double play. Second double play of the night turned by the Phillies. Second time in as many innings. It's time to stretch here at Citizens Bank Park as Cody Ransom grounds into a double play. Wilson Valdez and Chase Utley, and finally Ryan Howard finish it off. Here's the question one more time. What player is the last Philly to have back-to-back 200-hit seasons?
My only guess for that would be the AC, always cool Dave Cash.
You are correct. Log back on Phillies.com.
I mean, he had 200 hits 2 years in a row, and I'm trying to think. The only guy I could have thought possibly would have been Bobby Abreu, but I don't know that he had 200 hits. Did he ever have 200 hits?
I think he did.
Yeah. Oh, look,
but it wasn't obviously consecutive seasons.
No, I don't think he had it 2 years in a row, but I think he may have had 200 hits in a season.
Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans.
Dave Cash and Larry Boa had 200 hits apiece one year when they batted first and second in the Phillies lineup.
2-0 the count to Pence.
That was the night of that story I told you about Tom Seaver when Boa was hitting second, Cash was hitting first. That man is bringing it. Boa called me the next day. He said, "What story did you tell?" People were asking me, and I told him. He says, "Oh yeah, that's what happened."
Pence in tonight's ball game is a double and a walk so far, and he's got 2 walks. He's aboard. Well, in between innings, we talked about Ryan Howard maybe hurting himself on one of the swings he had in his last at bat, and he walks around the dugout with Mark Anderson, the Phillies athletic trainer, and then heads down the stairs of the dugout. Well, you just hope he's okay. Yeah. It's very, very difficult to replace anyone, but in particular to replace Ryan Howard.
Well, they lost him last year for 3 weeks with that ankle injury, and it is a problem. And you know, we don't know what happened, but when you see a guy swing and miss like that, a lot of times it's a rib cage, or as they call it now, oblique.
Mayberry had an RBI single his first time up, popped out his last time, takes a strike. Figure he'll move to first if Howard comes out, and Ibanez will go to the outfield.
Right.
Or Francisco, depending on how Charlie wants to work it. There's Mark Anderson. One of the best right there.
He and Scott Sheridan do a great job for the Phillies in the training area. Another guy does a pretty good job in the equipment area. Standing beside him, Frank Kopenbarger.
You need something from him?
Can be a little annoying at times, but overall not bad.
To the count to Mayberry.
That's where they need to make something happen with Pence and Mayberry. They're 2 big right-handed hitters against the left-hander, and they're getting that Patterson up out there. And who was he something last night to Utley? He is deceptive. Left-hander.
Opposite way, a base hit, the second of the night for Mayberry. On his way to third is Pence. The throw by Upton cut off, and the Phillies have first to third with nobody out.
There you go. That's how you run the bases. How many times do we talk about first to third and how it can win and lose your ball games if you do it or you don't do it? And that was really aggressive by Hunter Pence. Great job. Reads this perfectly off the bat. Obviously it's a hit. He knows exactly where Upton is, how far he has to come for it, and he's on his own right here. He's going to come around second, and he isn't even going to worry about Juan Samuel in that situation. And this time he needed to slide
and stop. So a meeting at the mound between Charles Nagy, the pitching coach, and the rest of the infield for the Diamondbacks. With nobody out, Patterson is up in the pen.
Valdez is obviously a big hitter right now for these guys, because they have to be thinking, well, maybe if we want to make a move, Ruiz isn't available, so they won't hit for Schneider if we wanted to use Patterson or even just let Saunders. And they're certainly not going to hit for Lee here, you would think. So although the Phillies are going to get the bullpen up, and that could be more a decoy than anything.
Yeah, but Bastardo's up and throwing in the pen. Nobody out. Bottom of the 7th. Go ahead run over at third.
They're playing back too.
Fly ball center field. That's pretty well hit. Going back is Young, and it's over his head and off the base of the wall. Pence will score, and boy did Mayberry read that well. He's heading home. It's a 2-run double for Valdez, and the Phillies lead it 4-2. base running put the pressure on the Diamondbacks, and base running led to a second run.
That's how you win games. That's how you're a good team. Run the bases. And, you know, two good base runners in this inning, and Mayberry and Pence. Pence going first to third, and that put a lot of pressure on Saunders to try and do something there to keep the ball out of the air for a sacrifice fly, and the opposite occurred. Wilson got a pitch that he could put in the air, hits it over Young's head, and as Tom said, read very, very well by John Mayberry Jr., who scores easily on this. Pence, of course, walks home, and here comes Big John, not that far behind him.
So Valdez with just his 9th double of the year. RBIs 18 and 19, and Joe Saunders' night is complete. We've got a pitching change here at Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies have taken the lead. It's an AT&T call to the bullpen with Phils on top by 2. You see that yellow dot move from second to third because Wilson Valdez was just sacrificed over to third by Brian Schneider. That was a beautiful bunt. And because of that, Charlie Manuel will now send up a pinch hitter for the pitcher, Cliff Lee.
Well, they look out in that bullpen and they see there's nobody up. Here's nice job by Brian Schneider. A perfect bunt right there to make the third baseman field the ball and get him away from the bag so Valdez can walk over there. Then they look out in the bullpen. Okay, is there a right-hander up? No. So they're going to make, there's a Schneider with a good bunt. They're going to make a move here, try to get another run out of this, and then get 6 outs out of the bullpen with a 3-run lead.
So Patterson 0-3, a 3.00 earned run average. Will face Ben Francisco, who's looking for a fly ball because the infield is in.
Right, and much nastier off against left-handed hitters than right-handed hitters, as you, well, he just looks like he should be.
Yeah.
He is, though.
So Cliff Lee goes 7 strong innings tonight, allows 3 hits and 2 runs, 7 strikeouts.
Now Lee wanted to come up there, but he knows he can't hit this guy. I mean, he's laughing right now. But how can they hit for me? I can hit this. No, you can't.
Fly ball center field. That's pretty well hit. Young with his back to the infield going back, leaps and makes the catch. Valdez will score. It's a long sacrifice fly for Ben Francisco. And if not for the athleticism of Chris Young, it may have been a 2-run home run. But they'll take it.
Right, and a good job there to bring the pinch hitter off, to bunt him over, bring the pinch hitter off the bench, and get the matchup you want and another run out of it, and a 3-run lead with 6 outs. Lee doesn't want to come out of the game, but that was a good job they just did. And Ben delivers. He got a pitch down, Tom said that's a tremendous play by Young, who's cheating in a little bit. Well, he had two he had to go back on, and he got to one of them.
Yeah, that one, looking at the replay, I don't think it would have gone out of the yard, but it would have been awfully close. There's
Right.
Ryan Howard, who's back in the dugout. That's a good sign. Yeah, let's hope everything's okay with Ryan. Rollins hits it hard toward third. Nice play by Ransom. Gets to his feet, has to hurry. Not in time. Rollins legs out his second hit of the night.
Just a little hesitation there by Cody Ransom, whether he didn't field it cleanly or make the exchange, and Jimmy running hard beats a play. I think we can tell what happens here. Down the line. Well, he stumbled when he got up. That's what it was. That was what the little bit of a hesitation was. He got his throw off line a little bit too, and beats a play for an infield hit.
6 hits now for the Phillies. 3 in this inning, and Victorino's the batter. Takes a breaking ball for strike one.
It's a very good inning by the Phillies. So when you think about the base running in this inning, the bunt to get him over, and the sacrifice fly to get him in, all real good fundamental things for a 3-run inning here. Nothing spectacular, but just real good baseball.
Through the hole, left side, another base hit for Victorino, his first of the night. Rollins round second, hangs up there. 8th man to come to the plate in this inning is Chase Utley. And now Brad Ziegler, acquired from the A's, starts to throw for the Diamondbacks.
And a good sign, as you said, Tom. Ryan Howard not only back in the dugout but in the on-deck circle.
Yep. Guy, he doesn't miss many games. You know, last year when he turned his ankle.
Well, they might have gone in and taped him up. We'll find out, or maybe we won't find out. But he obviously was in some discomfort. Utley faced this guy last night. He threw him some nasty frisbees.
Phillies lead it 5-2 here. The Giants lead the Braves 5-1 in Atlanta.
Well, Matt Cain gave up that first inning run, and ho-hum, same old thing with him. He doesn't give up much after the first inning, it seems like.
Utley rips it foul. Pickoff play is on, and Rollins gets back ahead of the tag.
Oof.
1-2 the count.
Does get you pulling off. Very different swings the right-handed hitters get off him than left-handed. That's why they bunted Schneider and hit for Lee.
Chase tries to go the opposite way, and it remains 1-2.
You know he's thinking that. He just asked home plate umpire Foster if that was a strike. You know his mind is thinking, I've got to stay in here and maybe hit the ball the other way, but I can't imagine how tough it is to stay in against a guy like this. Where he lands and then throws the ball will make you pull off.
He's staying in there now. He's fighting it.
It's a tough at bat he's going through right now.
Phillies have scored 3 runs here in the bottom of the 7th to break a 2-all tie. Joe Saunders, the starting pitcher for the Diamondbacks, he began the inning and allowed the first 3 hitters to reach. And now it's Patterson who's taken over. And a pickoff play again. Rollins was breaking with a secondary lead and was able to get back.
Yeah, and that's one of those things about stealing third with 2 outs. And it almost looked like he was going to go then and almost got nailed.
There he goes. Victorino falls, pitches low, throw is high to third, double steal. Phillies have 2 in scoring position. Stolen base 28 for Rollins, 16 for Victorino.
A good job of coordinating that too with those 2. You know, there's no sign for that. He just went. Jimmy Rollins just went, and Victorino makes sure he's going, and then he just follows.
Now a base hit will score 2, or should score 2.
Yeah.
2-2 the count. And Utley lifts it in the air, shallow left. Coming on is Cowgill. And the side is retired. But the Phillies sent 8 men to the plate in the inning. The big blow, Wilson Valdez. Straightaway center field. I think he thought he got enough of it. Well, he did to drive it too. Phillies leading 5-2. From Comcast, the official HD triple play provider of the Phillies. By Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. And by Mazda. Zoom Zoom. Top of the 8th inning, Phillies leading 5-2, trying to take game 2 of this series. And Antonio Bastardo will be the new pitcher for the Phillies. He'll take over for Cliff Lee, who was outstanding again. 7 strikeouts over 7. At Bastardo, 49th ball game, a 1.41 earned run average.
Yeah, these guys haven't pitched much lately, and as you mentioned, that's one of the reasons he was up last night, to just get a little work in and get loose. So you know, a good spot to put him in right now and see if he and Madsen maybe can finish this off. And another great job by Cliff Lee.
Well, he'll get a chance to just sit and watch. It's been a week since Bastardo last pitched against the Dodgers on the 10th. First pitch to Cowgill is lifted toward right field. Victorino will take over for Pence, 1 away.
That really helps. You just go out there and swing at the first pitch like that, down by 3 runs.
Host your next corporate or social event at Citizens Bank Park. The ballpark offers a variety of unique spaces and on-site catering available year-round for many types of functions, both large and small. Take advantage of all the ballpark has to offer. Tours, fan vision usage. Call 215-218-5100 or visit Phillies.com/special events. Henry Blanco is the hitter. Then Sean Burrows with this all left-handed bench for the Diamondbacks. Blanco's 0 for 2. Diamondbacks do have Micah Owings, one of their pitchers, who could always hit, but he's in the bullpen now.
Right, he's in the bullpen, but what a hitter that guy is.
Yeah, if he was a starter, they could bring him in. Well, I guess if he was going to come in to pitch, they could bring him in.
Sure.
2-0 the count to Blanco. There's strike one.
Micah Owings has 9 major league home runs.
Cliff Lee has 2.
Yeah, trying to catch Micah.
Making Cole Hamels laugh. Brian Schneider off with the mask. That ball's coming back to him. Oh, he made a basket catch. He used his chest protector to help his cause. 2 outs.
Well, he knew that. I think he thought that thing was going to hit the screen, and then all of a sudden, here it comes. It kept spinning back. This is a great job by Brian right there, because he got so close, and now he uses the chest protector. Looks like the way Sarge used to catch him.
Without the chest protector. Carlos Ruiz, a spectator tonight.
He knows what that's like, making a play like that.
Here's Sean Burrows pitch hitting for the Diamondbacks, 243 hitter.
Once again, Brian Schneider done a really good job when called upon. It's fun to come off the bench and get one of those. Guy's done a very good job. Got a bunt down last inning that helped get a run in.
Another chance for Schneider. He may not need the chest protector this time. Makes the catch. How many times do you see that? 2 pop-ups to the catcher. The other catcher likes it. A 1-2-3 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th, and the Phillies lead it by 3. and under. Members receive Junior Phillies Club backpack, a Carlos Ruiz poster and magnet series, plus a membership card. Registration fee is $13. For information or to register, see Phillies.com/Junior Phillies Club. Bottom of the 8th. Phillies on top by 3. Brad Ziegler is the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks. 6 ball games since coming over from the A's. That's a pretty good trade by the Diamondbacks to bring this guy over. Not only because they don't have to worry about any kind of contract extension beyond this year, but also he's kind of funky.
Oh yeah, right-handed hitters especially.
Here we go. And it's 1 ball and no strikes to Ryan Howard.
How about that old Kent Colvey look?
Two and 0. Brad Ziegler was originally drafted by the Phillies in the 31st round back in 2003. He was let go after the 03 season. And Howard rips it towards shallow right past Roberts. Well, if he's hurting at all, he's not showing it on that swing. And he's got a base hit, his first of the night.
Yeah, it looked like Roberts thought he had that thing lined up till it hit the ground, and then it really scoots. Hey, Ryan got some top spin on this. Now watch it when it hits the ground right here, and boy, does it jump right there. He thought he had it lined up. He was going to take it off to the side, and that thing had some speed.
Brad Ziegler went to the same college that Ryan Howard went to. Both went to Southwest Missouri State University. Hunter Pence takes outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Ryan finished up in 2001. Ziegler finished up in 2003. Two and 0 the count to Pence.
Madsen just kind of standing around out there right now. He's thrown a lot already. He's ready to come in the game, just kind of timing it. Well, we'll see what they do here if they score more runs. But there's Zach Duke, who's a former starter for the Pirates. He's hit 2 home runs this year. You think they would use Madsen no matter what, unless it just got out of hand completely, because he hasn't worked for a while.
3-1 the count to Pence. Madsen's last appearance, like Bastardo's, was last week against the Dodgers. There's Madsen. Brad Lidge has been up tonight. He was up while Bastardo pitched the 8th, just in case they needed him to come in to throw against a right-hander. To the right side, that'll sneak through, a base hit. Howard will stop at second, so first and second for the Phillies to start the bottom of the 8th. And Pence has 2 hits tonight.
To right field.
43 multi-hit games.
Kirk Gibson looking out there has to look at Hunter Pence and say, that's my kind of guy.
Phillies, you see, 12-3 in the 15 games since Pence arrived. John Mayberry's had a very good night. He's got a run, 2 hits, and an RBI.
Yeah, he hasn't had many at bats lately. You know, the Phillies haven't seen a whole lot of left-handers, and just because there's a left-hander out there doesn't mean that Raul Ibanez is going to sit like against Lannon last week. He had Raul had tremendous numbers against Lannon, so he played against him. Ooh, that was one to hit. Trying to throw that frisbee to him when he got a little bit middle in part of the plate. John opening up a little bit. That could have been a long one.
There's Ibanez getting the night off as the lefty started this evening.
And the right-hander Kennedy tomorrow night, who's an outstanding young pitcher.
One and one the count to Mayberry with 2 on and nobody out. 2-1. Mayberry now with 9 home runs, 32 runs batted in. His 2 hits tonight give him 45 on the year. His average up to 259. He'll finish with a little more than 200 at bats, you would think, here in the big leagues. He has 175 counting this one. Slowly hit up the third base line. Ransom charges, barehands, throws off balance, no chance. The throw gets away from Goldschmidt. Here comes Howard. He's going to score. The Phillies lead by 4. It's a 3-hit night for John Mayberry. And the Phillies are on top 6-2.
Trying to be a hit RBI and an E5 there. Good base running by Howard as it bounced away. No RBI. I mean, here you go right there. There's the throw to first and it bounces away. So you give a hit, an E5, and no RBI.
Ryan saw that ball got away far enough from Goldschmidt where he could score.
Yeah, it's good base running on his part.
He's moving okay too, which is good to see. And Mayberry has 3 hits tonight. Valdez bunted at the pitch from Ziegler.
Yeah, well, they want to bunt him here, trying to get 2 more runners into scoring position. You have a left-handed hitter up in Schneider, although Duke is up in the bullpen. Well, maybe they'll take it off. Phillies are going to get another pitcher up out there.
Yeah, Stutz has started to throw. Got a bunt toward third. Ziegler's going to try for third. Off the glove of Ransom. Everybody's safe. Well, everything good is happening for the Phillies in this inning, and everything bad is happening for Ziegler.
A lot of those guys that throw underarm have trouble throwing the bases because they're not used to any kind of an overhand motion. And that looked kind of funky the way he threw that to third, and he ate his third baseman Ransom alive with it. Here's the bunt. Now watch his throwing motion. See, he's trying to get to a more of a conventional throw, but he's so used to throwing the other way. I remember that used to happen with Teak all the time. When he would try to throw to a base, it really looked weird, and he struggled with it.
Well, the Phillies with the bases loaded. Zach Duke's coming on. Still nobody out here at the bottom of the 8th. Fans need to know on Sports Night, presented by Toyota. Coming up after Phillies postgame live only on Comcast Sportsnet. Well, the official scoring on Wilson Valdez's bunt is fielder's choice E1. So I guess they haven't given him a sacrifice. So no sacrifice.
Well, I guess they're really going to score that by the E, meaning that even though it was a good bunt, they thought he had plenty of time to get him at third with the force in order. So no sacrifice.
Zach Duke, who has started this year and also is relieved, is on for the Diamondbacks. 3-4, 5.05 earned run average. The infield is in with the bases loaded. And Brian Schneider takes away 1 ball and no strikes.
So what they're telling you by doing this is they don't want to give up another run on a double play and make it a 5-run lead. So they're going to play the infield in here.
One ball and 1 strike to count to Schneider. 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. Well, now both Stutz and Matson have sat down with nobody out here in the 8th.
And that's what we talked about when this inning began, with just 1 base runner. If it were to get out of hand, so to speak, meaning you get a lot of runs, then they may use somebody other than Matson, and we have no idea now who it's going to be. But whoever it's going to be is going to have some breathing room.
Might see Michael Schwimmer make his major league debut.
You get a grand slam here or something, maybe.
2-1 the count. Well, Schneider's mad. He had a pitch he could hit there. 2-2.
It's a fastball in the zone. Zach Duke, longtime Pirate. Cubs.
Line drive, base hit it to left field. Pencil score. Mayberry stops at third. An RBI for Schneider. And it's 7-2 Phillies.
It seemed not long ago this was really a nail biter.
Phillies have scored 5 runs in the last 2 innings. And Raul Ibanez will pitch hit.
It's a really good at bat by Brian Schneider. Just battle. Got a fastball, hit it the other way. 1 base at a time, another run.
And again, the infield is in.
Yeah, they just are not going to give up another run on a double play ball. Hitters love that look too when they're out there. Well, there's so much room.
Some guys enjoy the role of pinch hitting. Raul Ibanez is an everyday player. I mean, you can see it by his numbers. 147, your career pinch hitter.
It's hard to pinch hit.
That's not hit deep. The left fielder Calgill makes the catch, and Mayberry just draws the throw. 1 away, and the bases remain loaded.
Well, probably whoever's going to pitch is going to get up. 1 out.
It is Matson.
Yep. So I guess there's Raul just made that out as a pinch hitter. I guess they figure Matson, like the starter, needs to work. So they're going to get him in the game, especially since he was up and ready to go.
Rollins has a couple hits tonight, including a home run. That was back in the 1st. Now the infield is set up to try to turn 2. Zach Duke has had the Phillies number in a number of games.
Oh, he pitched well against them when he was with the Pirates.
Rollins to center field. That should score a run. Young makes the catch. His throw goes toward third. Valdez doesn't tempt fate. Mayberry scores an RBI for Rollins, his second of the night. Phillies have scored 3 runs in each of the last 2 innings.
Yeah, they really broke this baby open. You just talked about Valdez, and that's a good point. Tempt fate. What you don't want to do is a base runner there. All you're trying to do is just draw the throw and make sure it goes towards third. You don't want to go, because if you're tagged out before that run scores, you don't want to go in the dugout then.
Well, it's 8-2 now, Phillies.
Yeah, it's amazing, because this game was really well played and tight, and Phillies with very good baseball, and they've also taken advantage of some Diamondbacks' mistakes, have broken it open.
Cliff Lee is in line to pick up his 13th win if the Phillies can get 3 more outs in the top of the 9th. One ball and no strikes the count to Victorino. There's Lee.
Man smiles a lot, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
He has a good time. He just loves being a ball player. You have that kind of talent, why wouldn't you?
Hit hard, right past Cody Ransom down the left field line. Valdez will coast home. Schneider stops at third. It's an RBI double for Victorino, his second hit of the evening. All of a sudden, the Phillies now not only have reached double digits in hits, they have a 7-run lead. They lead it 9-2.
Yeah, he really didn't see this coming.
And they batted around here in the 8th.
Now you really wonder if Patson's going to come in the game. Shane nails this thing. Cody Ransom dives, can't get to it. Double, run score, runner knocked in.
Victorino safe at second, safe and secure with New York life.
And the Diamondbacks are probably going to see their winning streak come to an end at 7, and this is where you want to see it come to an end, not in a tough loss. They're getting thumped right now. And Ryan is up and what they're going to do.
Well, he's ready to go. So
yeah, I mean, if they're going to use him, he's certainly ready. It'll be a non-adrenaline situation, but he may just need the work.
Swing and a miss. It gets past Blanco, but it shoots right back. John Vukovic's worst nightmare.
Thinking the same thing. Just as you, it used to drive Vuk crazy with these new parks. It would hit and come back. Like
PNC. I remember the day when he saw PNC, and he's looking at the wall.
He hated that. I don't care how pretty they look. Who cares? They're supposed to have padding and the ball stop.
But Vuk, it looks good on TV. I don't watch the game on TV.
Who cares what it looks like? Very old school. But those bricks look really nice like Wrigley. Yeah, but that was built in 1912. It does make it hard for a third base coach with those kind of walls now.
They look good, though.
They look beautiful. And that's the idea, but the balls come bouncing back.
Left side of the infield, the shortstop, Bloomquist, is there. And the Phillies bat around here in the 8th. They put 4 runs up on the board. They've scored 7 in the last 2 innings. It's not a safe situation, but that guy needs some work. And he's coming on as we go to the top of the 9th here in Philadelphia. Game. Stay tuned for the expert analysis of Ben Davis on Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance, right here immediately after the game. Top of the ninth. It's a 9-2 Phillies lead. Ryan Matson is on to try to give the Phillies a very comfortable win. Well, it wasn't really comfortable to start.
Yeah, but it seems like it now.
Willie Bloomquist leads it off.
Give Cliff Lee credit, of course, again, keeping the game right where it was, real close until they were able to break it open.
Antonio the startup pitch to scoreless 8th. And now it's Matson. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Numbers on Matson, 43rd game. An earned run average of 2.16. Bloomquist 0 for 7, counting his 3 at-bats tonight. Down the right field line, that'll slice out of play. She had herself a good night. A ball, a fanatic puppet.
9 runs.
Valdez in foul territory. What away here in the ninth.
Well, I think the 9 runs are going to finish 3rd for her.
I would think so. What do you think? Fanatic doll, the ball, and then the 9 runs?
1, 2, and way back at the 9 runs.
That'll bring Ryan Roberts to the plate. Roberts has a base hit in 3 at-bats. 2 runs on 3 hits, 3 errors for the Diamondbacks. 9-12 and 0 for the Phillies.
Brian Wilson, number 45 for San Francisco.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe they were bringing him in for some work.
That's Jeremy Affeldt that's in there right now. 41 is in.
Yeah, well, 45 was in to start the 9th and couldn't get through it.
Now so he saw Dr. Andrews today.
Oh, did he? Yeah, because
he's got some inflammation
in his back or his shoulder.
Elbow.
Oh, okay. Because he was struggling. He struggled the other night, and they said his back or shoulder were bothering him.
Dan Runzler is number 45.
Well, he didn't get through the inning.
Ryan Matson has got the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 38, by the way. Wilson.
38, thank you. I'd recognize him.
Oh, he's got a heck of a beard. You can't miss him.
No, you know him.
3-2 the count to Roberts. Phillies trying to pick up a game on the Braves. They lead the division by 7.5. Atlanta's trailing San Francisco. Phillies leading here, of course. Ball's rocketed right past Matt Williams. He didn't even blink.
The Phillies really want to win the division. If they could, after tonight, if they are lucky enough to win this game, the Braves lose, they'd have 10 in the loss column with 3 games in hand, too. Long way to go, but getting in a situation every time they can do something like that, that makes it a little bit easier as time goes along.
3-2 pitch. Up high, ball 4. So Roberts walks. 3rd walk issued by Phillies pitching tonight. And here's Justin Upton. Oh for 3. Even though the Phillies lost yesterday's ball game, they've kind of kept the top 3 hitters in order against the Diamondbacks.
Well, that's a good way to win. Oh, there's the end of the moon. Been full the last few nights, huh?
I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
You're good at that stuff.
Well, you know, some things. Why I notice moons. I guess it's because I'm around people that react when they're full. Not always well.
0-2 the count. Whatever do you mean, Wills?
Oh, we won't even go there. Braves are in their 124th game tonight. This is 121 for the Phillies. That's what I mean. The Phillies have 3 games in hand.
Upton's down on strikes, 2 outs here in the ninth.
The Braves win a lot of games late, and they're staying after the Giants on that one tonight. Here's Ryan Matz with a really good changeup. See the grip there, and dives out of the strike zone. Ryan just trying to get some work in right now.
Well, 15 pitches so far in this inning for Matson. And he's got Chris Young to deal with, the cleanup hitter. Top 3 hitters in the Diamondbacks order, 2 for 25 in these first 2 games. That's pretty good. But Upton has one of those 2 hits that came last night in the 9th inning. 1-1 the count to Chris Young. Cliff Lee went the first 7. He struck out 7, allowed 2 runs. It was a 2-run home run by Paul Goldschmidt. The Stardo pitched to scoreless 8th. Here's Matson, and it's upstairs 2-1. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Rutrow, San Francisco's lead over the Braves at 2. Brian McCann is batting with a runner at second and 2 outs.
Said they were still after him. It's 7-1 when that inning started.
Young hits one foul. 2-2 the count. Well, some of the largest crowd in Citizens Bank Park regular season history have headed to the exits, but the more than 40,000 that are still here on their feet, hoping to see the Phillies even up this series. The 2-2 pitch inside 3-2. Roberts will be off and going on this pitch. There he goes. The pitch popped up behind second. It's on Chase Utley's side of the field. He's under it, and he puts it away, and the Phillies have evened up this series as they win it by a final score of 9-2. They scored 7 runs in the 7th and 8th inning combined to back the pitching of Cliff Lee, who is a 13-game winner. The Phillies win it 9-2. Charlie Manuel's bunch quiet offensively until the 7th inning tonight. And then Wilson Valdez's 2-run double kind of opened things up for the Phillies, and it led to the 7 runs in the last 2 at-bats for the Phils and their 79th victory of the year. Well, pretty good night all the way around for the Phillies, coming back from last night when they lost that one in the 9th inning as the Diamondbacks scored a couple runs to finish the ball game up. Our Chevrolet player of the game, he was entertaining and has been. It's Hunter Pence, 2 for 2, a couple walks, couple runs scored. And he helped the Phillies to the victory. And here is our W.B. Mason delivery of the ball game. And as it turned out in a 7-run lead for the Phillies at the end, this was the biggest hit of the night.
It was, Tom, as you talked about. They're trying to get a ground ball out of Wilson Valdez there with a couple men on base. He hits it over Chris Young's head. 2 runs scored. Hunter Pence with John Mayberry right behind him. They took the lead there at 4-2 and then went on to score a bunch more and actually won easily.
So the Phillies win it by a final score of 9-2. Wilson Valdez filling in over third. Did a very nice job. And now he gets a chance to talk with Sarge. Take it away, Sarge.